Do they expel people for partying on campus? Groups of friends just meet up in a dorm one night and like literally do drugs. The guys talking crap about the girls fighting over the guys. Get the drugs out. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we are finally filming my boarding school Q&A. I have been meaning to film a Q&A for literally probably a year. People will like comment questions so often, especially under my like first move-in vlog, the one that kind of like blew up. By the way, that video has 10,000 views now. I am so shook. So if you haven't seen that video, go ahead and watch that, because if you're watching this video like boarding school Q&A, you're obviously like interested in boarding school, or you go to boarding school. So if you haven't seen that video, go ahead, watch that. So I told you guys to leave comments under this video. I'm gonna put it right here. It was my best friend in controls my quarantine for 24 hours. I told you guys to leave comments about questions you have about boarding school under that video, and I would answer them in a Q&A. I'm looking at the comments right now, and I'm just gonna start from like the bottom and go up. All right, so the first comment says, what time do you wake up in the morning? And for me, it really depends on what term it is. Fall term, spring term, I'm way more likely to wake up earlier, but winter term, wrestling season, no light out, I'm definitely waking up with as little time as possible. Class starts at 8:30. Literally last year, I would wake up at 8:15 and then just like put on clothes, brush my teeth, and walk to class. Like give myself 15 minutes. Like that's how tired I am in the winter. So this year I was waking up around like 7:40, 7:50, but I promise you, like I tried to wake up as late as possible because I'm just so tired, especially in the winter. Like I can't. What are weekends like? Weekends really depend. I'm in student activities, which is the organization on campus that plans all of our weekends. So we usually go for, well, it's always in the student center. So we have like a big just like area where people kind of just gather in the we call like our snug. And it's like a cafe in there, so that's where our weekend activities happen. Sometimes there's dances on the weekends, like certain dorms will have a dance. Usually it's just like weekend activities. We plan like an arcade night where we will like rent actual like retro arcade games. We have like a Wii and all the little things where people can like do Just Dance, Wii bowling. Like we have tournaments like that. Usually it's always something where you can win food, win a gift card, and it's always something where like it's usually really cool. Like we like rent a lot of stuff, and we have a big like budget to make sure like weekends are really fun because we have a majority boarding school population, so we're all here on the weekend. Nightlife, that's kind of weekend life as well. On the weekdays there isn't really much you can do on the weekday for nightlife because you have like study hall hours. You're going to the library to get work done. That's like kind of like the most fun you can have, is when you're going to the library to get work done. Like you go in groups and you just like reserve a room. On the weekends you can interdorm, like that's nightlife. So that's where like opposite sex can go into each other's dorms while faculty are on duty for Friday and Saturday nights. Parties hosted by, not really fun parties, like you literally get breathalyzed before each party, so there's not really much you can like try at school. Are you friends with your teachers? I would say I'm friends with my teachers, like that's a little, you know, but I'm very close to my teachers. I feel like you kind of have to be, honestly. You live with them and then they're in your dorm as well. Like my advisor last year, he was my Spanish teacher, and he literally lived across, not even across the hall, like he lived on my floor like with his family and like his 2 children, and he was just like down the hall. So you know, you see them in the hall, you see them in the morning. I always heard him going to the elevator in the morning with his family. So you live with them, and especially they have dorm duty at night, so they'll have like a snack, or they'll say like check in their apartment. So you get really close with your faculty members because you're living with them and they're living in the dorm with you. So I wouldn't say you're friends with them necessarily, you're very cool. Some of them you could be friends, like you can have very like informal connections with some teachers and you just kind of gravitate towards them. But I feel like in general, I'm like very cool. I like all my teachers and I think they like me. Hopefully college recs are gonna start coming up. How do you choose your roommate? So your first year, you aren't gonna choose your roommate. You're obviously gonna get picked for you and you're most likely gonna have a double or a triple. You're definitely not probably gonna get a single your first year unless you have like something medically. But during the actual, once you're actually there and at the end of the year, they have all these forms where you pick what dorm you would like to be in. It's not a guarantee because I definitely picked a dorm last year that they didn't put me in, that I had to like fight to get back into for this year. That was a school bus. So yeah, you pick a dorm and then you also put like 2 possible people you will want to room with in that dorm. And I think you can do the same thing if you're like a prefect or an RA, which are like upperclassmen leaders in the dorm. But yeah, I never did that. I had a roommate my first year, which was my sophomore year, and then I picked an all single dorm for junior year, even though I was really only there for 2 months. So I didn't have a roommate because the dorm was basically all singles, and I definitely don't want a roommate for senior year either. And I'm gonna be an RA in the senior year. I just got word back that I got RA, so I'm super happy about that, and hopefully I get a single dorm with a balcony on the room. Can you get food that isn't from the cafeteria? You can order food, but there's certain times where you can't. Like you can't order food during the actual school day, but any other time you can. People order all the time, especially on the weekends. You can order if like sometimes the food isn't hidden like that and you want to order food during study hall hours. Low-key, if you're an upperclassman, you kind of can, even though you're not supposed to, because it's not like a formal study hall. You just have quiet hours. You can still have your phone, so you can really order food anytime except for in the school day. Do they expel people for partying on campus? I wouldn't say partying. Well, most of the times like the parties where people can get expelled at are happening like in dorms, where like groups of friends just meet up in a dorm one night and like literally do drugs and drink. They definitely expel you if you get caught, 100%. My school is a second chance school, but they still, I think, have like a no tolerance policy for drugs and alcohol, except for if you have amnesty. Well, yeah, that's like so very niche to have to get into, but there's this thing where we have amnesty nights on campus, which is where deans and all the dorm faculty will come and the counselors will come to the dorm, and they will literally hand out brown paper bags, and they say like, you have this much time to get out anything that you have in your room, and then they pick random rooms from like a bag and they like randomly check rooms. So you have that as a time to, and sometimes word gets out about like amnesty going around the dorm, so you know it might make its way to an upperclassman dorm and they might be like, pack all this up, you know, like get the drugs out. So yeah, but you definitely get expelled unless you are under, what do you call it? I can't remember what it's called, but it's where you can go, it's through the health center. So if you actually feel like you have an addiction to something like a jewel, like a lot of people have nicotine addictions at my school, you can get that protected under the health center and they won't expel you or anything. Boarding school from a POC perspective, Rosie put that comment. Thank you, Rosie. I want to shout out this Instagram account that literally started, how is it black? It's called Black Girls at Boarding School. I'm gonna put it here. I really want, if you're a black girl and you're watching this and you go to a boarding school or you want to go to a boarding school, I really encourage you to follow this account, because this anonymous person has decided to make an account where we all can just share our experiences. And there's so many people that like I know from other school but don't know personally, and to see like we're all following this one account is like so awesome to me. But from a POC perspective, I think that my school has a lot more people of color and a lot more black people especially than other boarding schools. I think as like a black girl, it's very hard because obviously black guys don't like you, and that's like a consensus around all the boarding schools. I think that black groups, because usually there is like one main black group, I think that they can be either like really helpful and really like fruitful, or they can be really toxic. I'm just happy that like in a big group of people there's always like mess, kind of, you know. It's always like the guys talking crap about the girls fighting over the guys, and it's just so much. Like, I'm so happy that I literally just had my group of like 4 or 5 and we kind of just did our own thing. You really have to like decide if your main black people group, because you probably will have a main black people group in a predominantly white institution, is like fruitful or toxic, and then to like act accordingly. Are the academics really hard? I would say that my school especially, we have resources in place to where like you can survive the academics. I don't think the academics are too strenuous. I think that sophomore year was way easier because I wasn't taking any college level classes. My school, we don't do AP, we call it college level, and I was taking like advanced classes only. So I think the academics are hard depending on what classes you take. If you're taking a bunch of college level classes or AP classes, obviously going to be a lot harder. But I think that we have so many great resources in place. We literally have a quantitative resource center, a science resource center, and a writing studio, all in the library and all available during the day as well. So you can just pop in there, and if you need math help, higher level math students, like people in like linear algebra or faculty as well, they have like rotating duty within the resource centers. They will just help you with your homework. They will help you with like test corrections, with anything. Writing studio the same way. So I think that like if you really just like utilize the resources that are available to you, I think that you can survive. Like, best memory at school: prom. Go to prom with your best friends. Now I went to prom with Nav because she was a senior and she didn't have anyone to go with, so I went with Nav. And it was literally the most amazing time ever. Like, I literally, prom is just so great. It's just the whole last week leading up to the seniors graduation. We had the Juice WRLD concert. Oh my god, Juice WRLD! That was such a good time. And then after that, we spent the night over Nav's house. And then we had like prom the next couple days, and we got ready at her house, like went out a bunch and like got our nails done. And prom was just so fun. Definitely my best memory is the last week before the seniors graduated, where everything was just like so great. Are you emo that you don't live with your friends at home? I definitely miss my friends a lot. When I'm home, they already know what's happening. The first thing I do when I get home is like, I'm seeing you, I'm seeing you, I'm seeing you. Literally, my friend Kennedy lives not even a 10-minute drive away from my house. So I'm so happy that I always see my friends when I go home. It's always like going out. Like my little 2-week breaks, I'm going out like every night with my friends, and it's so fun. So I definitely miss my friends a lot. When I'm home, it makes it so much better that I like can focus on seeing them and spending time with them. Give me all the crazy dorm stories. Fiona said this. I don't think that, like, I think the craziest dorm stories are stuff you hear about other dorms. You're like, oh my god, like this person got kicked out for doing like acid and ecstasy. You're like, oh my god, did you hear about this? Oh, like there's like a dorm raid that happened in like this dorm last night and this person got kicked out. Like, that's like the craziest dorm story. Stuff you hear about other dorms, especially like relating to drugs. Examples of East Coast privilege. Thank you, Fiona. So I'm coming from the Midwest, and while we have our, like, I feel like every place has their like snooty parts, I think that the East Coast in general is super pretentious, super, you know, well, just like all the top schools are on the East Coast. Like, you have the Ivies and you have like the NESCAC schools, which are, what, another school bus? Dang. Where are they going? So yeah, East Coast privilege, I would say white privilege. But I feel like at boarding school, it's not really like East Coast privilege. It's more so like rich people privilege, to be quite honest. And they don't always live on the East Coast. The rich kids are the international students, bro. Like, it makes sense. Like, if you're literally like flying across the country every time we have a break, those are $1,000 flights. And you're like, it makes sense that like the wealthiest people would be the international students. So there are like wealthy people everywhere. I think that like certain schools have a different culture with it. I'm happy that my school isn't as like in your face wealth. I mean, like, that's like, take that with a grain of salt, because like we have people walking around with like Louis Vuitton scarves and designer backpacks. So I think that's really just like a wealth privilege. And the international, they got drip, bro. The international students got drip, drippity drip drip drip. They got some drip, okay? They be looking cute with their little Louis Vuitton scarf. Go ahead with your bad self. Annabelle, hey Annabelle, do you have to be in your rooms at a certain time, or can you be anywhere on the campus whenever? So you have to, on the weeknights, you have to be in your room at, we have early check-in. For upperclassmen, it was up until 7:45, between like 7:30, 7:15, 7:45, and then you can go, like you can sign out to like the library or another dorm. That's when study hall hours are. But at 9:45 you have to be checked in and you have to be in the dorm. You don't have to necessarily be in your room. If you're an upperclassman, you have to be in the dorm. For underclassmen, that's a different story. You have to be in your room, and they have like lights off check. It was so ratchet for underclassmen, to be quite honest. Like you have to like, they literally come in your room and check if you're asleep, and you get in trouble if you aren't. So upperclassmen privilege is really such a thing. I'm so happy, guys. I'm a senior almost. Oh my gosh. I have a month left of junior year. Okay, so yeah, and then on the weekends, it's different times for different groups as well. So underclassmen have to be checked in by 11. Checked in by 11. I know seniors, they don't have to be checked in until midnight, so that was lit. I think juniors is 11:30, so yeah, depends on the day. Why did you want to go to boarding school? This is a great question. So my mom approached my sister and I with the idea of it. Obviously I had no idea what it was. I was just chilling in my little private Christian school here, and I'm like, boarding, like what is that, you know? Like Zoe 101, like heck yeah, I go to PCA Academy, heck yeah, heck yeah. So then she approached us with the idea, and I was in these programs that help you like get into, that help like POC get into boarding schools. So then I kind of just like adopted the idea for myself, and I really wanted it really badly, and I was just going to all these different schools, and I was like, oh my god, like yes, like I want to be here. I actually only wanted to go to the school by my house at first. Like that was like my dream school. I was hands down, I literally told my parents, I was like, I don't even know why we're flying out to all these schools on the East Coast and like everywhere else. I literally only want to go to this school. Like we're wasting our time. Like I don't want to go anywhere else but this school. And then I saw my school and I was like, we love her. So I definitely fell in love with my school. I think that I wanted to go to boarding school because I wanted more resources. Like my school, we didn't have any clubs, we didn't have anything at all. It was just like academics, and academics weren't that hard, to be quite honest. And I knew that like boarding school has offered me so many resources. It's incredible. Like my time in DC in the fall, I would not have had that if I didn't hear about it through my school. I went to Peru in June. I went to Costa Rica for a month in July. Like I would not have had half the experiences I have in my life if it wasn't for boarding school, and just like all the like doors that can open by just being in that environment. I definitely encourage any of you guys to go to boarding school. I really like it. Everyone has their own different journey with it and different opinion of it. I know a lot of people, or I know some people who don't like it, and you know, I have a friend who literally came home from boarding school and like now goes to school back here again. So it really just, it's not for everyone, but I think it's what you make of it, and also it's just like, can you deal with, I feel like it's a very like, it's hard on your mental health, definitely. I feel like the routine for me was the hardest part. It literally feels like you're stuck in a simulation because you're doing the same thing every single day. It's wake up, go to class, go to track practice, go to wrestling practice, do study hall, go to bed, wake up, go to class. Like it, and every day is so like meticulously planned out for you almost. Like even on the weekends, like you don't really have much freedom because you have like wrestling meet, track meet, which takes 5 hours and takes the whole day. So that part is hard on your mental health because it's just like there's no spontaneity. Like if I'm going to school here, it's like I just got out of school, let's go to the mall real quick, like let's go to Target real quick, like family run a Target, you know? It's like there's no like run a Target after school. It's run your butt to the field and go to track practice, or run your butt to the gym and go to wrestling practice. So that part is hard, like the continuous like repetition of the same, you feel like you're living the same day almost. That is definitely that has been the hardest part for me. But I feel like I have gotten so many friends and so many opportunities and learned so much by just being in that environment. And on the East Coast, like you know, the top colleges are on the East Coast, like the West Coast as well, but I would definitely say that some of the top colleges are on the East Coast, and I have so much more, like, you can like work with different colleges, do different things, like there's just so much you can do by just going to those schools and like being in those environments and having that network of people. So that was long. Oh yeah, do you ever feel trapped? What do you do to get rid of that feeling? So that definitely goes into what I just said about feeling like you're stuck in a simulation almost. The best advice I'll give to anyone is to get off campus on the weekends. Get off of campus on the weekends, go somewhere, go to the mall, get away from campus. That saved me sophomore year by going to my friend's house and like being able to just have normalcy and like feel like I can get on the road and drive. Because for my school, you can't, if you're a boarding student, you can't like have a car there, really. There's no point. Like you also can't leave unless you get like, you have to, you know, like get signed out by the deans and like have like approval a couple days in advance if you want to spend the night somewhere. So there's no like spontaneity. So the best thing to really just get out, go somewhere on campus, have a day student friend, have someone else who lives local, who lives like in the state, or like, especially everything is next to each other in the boarding school area. If they live in New York, that's only a 2-3 hour drive. So go somewhere off campus, have friends that like are nice enough to like invite you over. Would you say there's a lot of drama since everyone is basically living together 24/7? I think that there's certain groups, like there's certain like pockets of people that have a bunch of drama. Everything else, it's really like if you engage in it, to be honest. I personally haven't had drama in my life since probably 9th grade when I didn't even go to boarding school. I feel like I don't have drama in my life whatsoever. Like, it's really if you engage in it, and if that's like in your friend group. When you're in those big groups of people, like you're obviously gonna be more susceptible to having like drama all the time. It's like, oh my gosh, like these two girls want this guy and this guy's talking to this other girl from the other school, like what the heck is happening? And then me over here, I'm just like, tripping, you know? So it really depends. How strict would you say your school is? Is it easy to get expelled? I would say my school says they're a second chance school, so not every school is like that by far. I think it's easy to get leveled. So getting leveled at my school, it's like there's different levels, obviously. So level 1 is that parents are notified. You can get a level 1 for the stupidest stuff. If you literally walk out with like not having shoes on your feet, that's like a level 1. Like I don't think they really enforce that much, but yeah. And then a level 2 is where they notify colleges. So getting a level 2, that's super easy. Honestly though, like if you plagiarize, you get like a second chance for plagiarizing. The first time is, I think, you just like talk to the deans. The second time they give you a level 2. It really depends. Drug and alcohol stuff, it's more easy to get leveled. But we have like DC disciplinary council, so like you might not get expelled, but you might like not have good standing with the school after like what you did. Do you feel like you have more or less freedom at boarding school than you would while at home? I think that I have more personal freedom. I can kind of just like grow as an individual. And okay, I'm refilming that part because the video stopped. But I think that I have more personal freedom, and I think that because there's not like there's faculty like checking for everyone, but it's not like your parents are definitely going to be harder on you because you're their kid, and like there's only a couple of you guys, right? But if there's 700 something people at school, you kind of like are your own individual and you're responsible for yourself in that sense. I think more like physical freedom to like move around, I would have that at home. My dad's getting something out the car. I would have more physical freedom at home, but I think more personal freedom at school. Is there an uptight, stressed culture? And I think she means like a culture just like are people stressed all the time? I think it really depends on what season it is. If it's finals week, yes. If you're a senior, definitely yes. But I think that it really depends. I think it depends on what school you're at as well, and like who you're around, and also like what grade you're in. So I feel like even now, like with the coronavirus stuff, like obviously the seniors were like, what the crap, like our whole, like you wait 4 years to get to senior spring. Like senior spring in boarding school is like top notch. Like I literally just like salivate at the thought of senior spring. It's like everything is like a relief. Like you're so like tensed up, college until senior spring where you're into your college. can start not caring about school as much anymore, and it's just like everything is fun and the weather's nice and like you're just hanging out with friends all the time. There's this school bus right here. Oh, they're dropping something off. Oh, no. What's the school bus doing? I feel like I'm scared to like look at it. Okay. I was saying like, oh, with this time, like seniors obviously were very stressed. I think that now more so like they're kind of coping with it, but I feel like juniors, like, oh my gosh, I think that the bus driver's dropping something off. I think that juniors, I know for myself, I'm speaking personally, I'm so stressed about college and like everything feels up in the air for me. Like if I feel like at least as a senior, you've already taken the SAT, you've already taken AP test, subject test, you've already done your college applications. So it's more so just like you're missing out on like the last high school experience, where I feel like my college future is kind of jeopardized a little bit because I'm so worried about like everything I planned for, and then it's just kind of literally just getting flipped upside down by Miss Rona. So I'm so stressed about college in that sense. And I think that it depends about like what grade you're in. Freshmen have more social pressure, I think. Sophomores are low-key chilling. Everyone, like, sophomore year is a time where like you get involved and do a lot of stuff because you're really just chilling there. I think it depends on what grade you're in and what school you're in and whether or not it's like a very uptight stress culture. What's the relationship between the boarders and the day students? So there, in my school, it's 70% boarding, 30% day. I think all the boarders can agree that day students have it better because they're not like subject to the same rules that we are as boarders. They don't have to like they don't have to like get dean approval ahead of time. If they want to go somewhere, they have their car on campus most likely. They're kind of just like free almost. As an upperclassman day student, you definitely know that you have it better. I think as an underclassman day student, you probably feel a little left out with your friends because you're missing so much of the interaction is in the dorm. So if you're not dorming with your friends, your relationship is going to be strained in that sense. You're going to have to like work harder to maintain that if you don't like play any sports together or anything. So I think that as an underclassman, day students probably like are more jealous of the boarding school students, but as an upperclassman, boarding school students are definitely like way more jealous of day students. What was it like your first week of boarding school? Was it awkward? Were you uncomfortable? For me, I did the summer program at my boarding school, so I wasn't terribly uncomfortable or awkward. I knew the place. I knew a lot of people going in because I did the summer program. I think that entering as a new sophomore, it was definitely hard for me in the social sense because my grade already established relationships, already had connections, so that was hard. I think that I'm so thankful for fresh fall of sophomore year. I met my best friends to this day when we were managing football together. So location wise, I knew the place, I knew faculty already because of the program. I think that with anything you're gonna be nervous. Like I was nervous socially because I felt left out in a lot of sense, and I felt like, I don't know, an outsider in my own grade, in my own dorm, especially because like the dorm I was in, it was a lot of people from the same like cliquey friend group, so I felt left out in that sense all the time. But I think it really just like, you're gonna find your people, you're gonna find your tribe, and when you do, Lord, it's such a relief. First week is always hard. Anywhere you go, you're gonna be the new person. That's like challenging within itself. How do African American girls do their hair? Everyone comes back with something over break. Like I always am gonna get some fresh braids over break. It depends on like track season, I'm gonna get braids, and wrestling season not so much because it's just like a lot more to deal with. Fall term, I'm coming hard, hunty. Senior fall, no sport, I need to come lace front, wig, installation. I need to come laid and slayed. But if you live local, you can like drive to get your hair done. People do hair like I do. Like I'll twist like guys' hair in the dorm. A lot of people wear their hair natural because like you kind of have to, unless you're just willing to do braids on yourself. People wear their hair straight all the time, and really just like there's no like black girls do their hair like this at school. Okay, someone said how old I am. I'm 16. I entered boarding school at the tender age of 14. So, because I skipped a grade. I skipped 4th grade, so I'm younger in my grade, which is weird, except boarding school, everyone's older. Everyone reclasses for sports. You have PGs who literally do a year in boarding school after high school to like do sports. So everyone is super old in boarding school, I would say that, and I'm super young. A lot of y'all are saying like, what school do you go to? Ooh. Wouldn't y'all like to know? You probably can guess, but I'm not gonna like officially say it. What grades do you have to get into boarding school? I think like getting into anything you have to have like good grades, but that really depends. I would say like people kind of assume that like, oh, if you're an athlete you don't have great grades, but that's really not true. I feel like a lot of people at my school who are like top athletes are so smart and are in like so many advanced classes. So I think you have to have good enough grades, but grades aren't everything in the process. It's like interview. Can you interview well? You know, what extracurriculars do you do? With any application process, grades aren't everything. But I would say that if you want, it's really about that test score, to be honest. If you are looking for financial aid and you need a financial aid package, your best bet is to freaking kill it on the SSAT. I got 86th percentile, which I feel like is kind of, shoot, that was enough for me. A lot of people get like 90 something, like 98th percentile on the SSAT. Like shut up, okay? Like 86 was great enough for me, and they was able to come through with that money. How long do you have to stay in boarding school? All year. You come home on the weekends, you get extra long breaks, which is great. Like we have like over 2 weeks for like Christmas break, 2 week spring break. What grade are you in? I'm a junior, now almost senior. I go to a boarding school in America. Someone asked like, what school is it? What's my country? I'm an American boarding school. Even though a lot of like boarding school people on YouTube are in British boarding school, which is cool. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. It's definitely long. Hopefully this was helpful to anybody who needed it. I definitely want to do more boarding school videos, especially August, back to school season. I'm going to be on, I promise you. I'm going to be on my game senior year. Oh my gosh. I'm screaming, but it's going to be my last year at boarding school. I have to literally just like kill the game for the girls. Like I have to give the girls boarding school videos all the time. So back to school season, I'm definitely going to do more videos, obviously. Let me know if you want a video with my sister. She goes to boarding school here at home. So I wanted to do this one with her today, but she was sleeping while I was filming it. It is currently 11:18 a.m. and I have a quiz in 12 minutes for physics class. So yeah, let me know what other videos you guys want to see. If you have any more questions or something you want like more clarification on, feel free to comment a question you have about this. I will answer any question you guys want. Also, if you stay to the end, I want to go ahead and shout out a few people. So if you don't know this already, I have an Instagram account. I'll put it here. This is my Instagram. And if you DM me, I will reply. Like I will respond to you. So I want to shout out a few people who have DM'd me and who I have relationships with. I thank you all for your support. Love you guys. So I want to shout out Regina. She is exo.reggie on Instagram. Love you, boo. I want to shout out selfcare_angel101. Love you. Thank you so much for just like talking to me. Feel like reaching out to me with questions you have. I want to shout out yourdoll.kel. And definitely Ashley Rako Rocco, Ashley_Rako on Instagram. Those people, those girls have reached out to me recently in the past. Also, I want to say that I am converting my spam account into a YouTube account because I post a lot now on my like regular account, like new video up in 5 minutes, like oh my god, comment. So if you don't want to be inundated by all that crap, then follow my spam account where I will be posting my YouTube related videos. I will put the account name here. And I know that Aaliyah Simone and Asley Williams have spam accounts for the YouTube channel. I think it's so great because I can interact with you guys on a more personal level. And a lot of people who follow my Instagram account probably like aren't the targeted age group for my type of video. And have a great day. Have a great quarantine. Love you all. I don't know why I'm screaming so much in this car. This video is like 40 minutes long. I apologize. Okay, bye. Peace out. Besitos.
I know it's all in